In the legendary XPan system, the 90mm f4 is often a forgotten lens because it is a telephoto lens in a wide-angle panoramic world. The 90mm lens often is overshadowed by the 45mm lens that comes with the camera, or the more exotic 30mm wide-angle lens that required a separate viewfinder. Both lenses are great, but the 90mm shouldn't be dismissed as an afterthought. It's a lens that can give you something different for your XPan in the form of beautiful compression in your images. If you're interested in the XPan, please check out my other video about the top 10 things you need to know about the Hasselblad XPan for some insights and information you might not know. Let's start with how the 90mm lens functions. The XPan is a rangefinder camera, so you look through a separate window to compose and to focus. You aren't looking through the lens. The XPan does something really special when you put the 90mm lens on the camera. The viewfinder actually changes. It's like a lens comes down and magnifies the image in the viewfinder, and the view you get is double the size compared to when the 45mm lens is on the camera. This makes it easier to compose and shoot with a longer focal length. The maximum aperture of the lens is f4, and you change the aperture on the front of the lens. You can change the aperture in half stops. The XPan has a top shutter speed of 1/1000th of a second, so sometimes I need to stop down the lens in brighter light. The difference between the 90mm lens and the two other XPan lenses is that it doesn't require a center filter for even exposures. I use the XPan in aperture priority mode. The lines in my finder are showing their age a bit, and they're not perfect, but everything works pretty well. Maybe it's my XPan, but I feel like the markings on the bottom of the frame when using the 90mm lens are not critically accurate. I need to remind myself to give the bottom a little bit more space when composing so I don't clip the image. The 90mm lens is a great size. Even though the lens is longer than the other XPan lenses, it still feels great when I'm holding it in my left hand or when I'm holding it in my right hand. As this is the first XPan, there is absolutely no readout in the finder for aperture and shutter speed. I need to look on the back of the camera for the exposure information, which is just a quirk of using this camera. I will admit that rangefinder cameras are more difficult for me to use than cameras that view the image through the lens. So when photographing with this focal length in the panoramic format, I sometimes struggle to keep my frame straight, especially when I was photographing a subject with defined lines. To focus this lens, you need to align the split images in the finder. Because of this system, I can't see how out of focus the other objects in the frame will appear. That's just a fact of life when using a rangefinder. But because this is a telephoto lens, I really want to be able to take advantage of the blur. The 90mm lens on the XPan offers something special. Compression. This isn't just about a tighter frame, it's about the way the elements within that frame interact. When you use the 90mm lens, you'll notice how the background gets more compressed and blurred in comparison to what you see with the 45mm and the 30mm lenses. Subjects in the foreground pop more, and those distant elements feel much closer together, adding a layer of visual intimacy and focus to your compositions. It's a look you just can't replicate with the wide-angle lenses in the XPan system. With a 90mm lens, you're able to create layers of depth, capturing rich details in the foreground while gently softening the background into a pleasing blur. The longer focal length naturally draws the viewer's attention to the subject without being too aggressive or harsh. So next time you pick up the XPan, don't forget about the 90mm f4. It may be the unsung hero of the system, but it's a lens with its own unique set of strengths. Whether you're after a cinematic compression, stunning bokeh, or simply a more intimate perspective, the 90mm has a place in your XPan toolkit. It's a lens that doesn't ask for attention, but when you take the time to appreciate it, you'll find that it brings a whole new dimension to your panoramic photography. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to check out my other videos, especially the one where I compare the XPan with a 30mm lens with the Fujifilm GFX 50R in panoramic mode and a 23mm lens. Don't forget to subscribe for more content about the XPan and other cameras and lenses. Thanks so much.